Hello, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Do you want to do some quick introductions to start with?
Yes. Hi, my name is Christian. I am the marketing director for Jägermeister in the UK. I've been in the role for over 2 years, so I'm an exception apparently.
Yeah.
I've been here 4.5 years, but I've been with Jägermeister for quite a bit longer than that, doing various roles in around Europe mostly. So yeah, I've seen a variety of clubs from small ones in Sunderland to very big ones in Istanbul and everything in between. And yeah, I think it's a fascinating territory, really, and it's great to talk about it today.
Thank you. Peter?
I've been with Jägermeister now for 12 years, starting my role, even longer, and started in a role in sort of culture, events, and brand marketing, and now heading up the brand marketing team, which comprises of all of the below. I started off my working life doing a job that most parents don't recognise as a job. So I used to run clubs and events up and down the country, and parents would regularly ask you, are you going to get a job? My dad still asks the same question.
Cool. So I spoke quite a bit in my presentation about the evolution of brands in dance music and music more generally. It'd be good if you guys could talk a bit about Jägermeister's own journey through music, which I gather sort of began in the world of heavy metal before gravitating more towards club culture.
Yeah, that takes us back quite a few years, I think to the late 90s or so, in early 2000s, I don't even know, in America basically, where it wasn't like the outcome of a big strategy meeting. It was rather the outcome of some rock or metal fans approaching the brand and said, "Hey, can you sponsor us, please?" And we said, "Why? We don't want to do that." But they were very persistent, and in the end we said, "Okay, we'll do that." We still don't know what exactly they liked about the brand. So there are a variety of theories. One is that the brand name, the word mark, has this Gothic lettering, which is very much in line with how many metal bands write their names. The dark liquid spirit, the sort of this underground thing. So that's how it started. And what started really, really small quickly grew into a nationwide project in the US with a Jägermeister music tour and festival sponsorships, et cetera. And then as the brand grew around the world, that was then adapted in other markets as well. So now, God, I don't know how many festivals or music programs we have around the world, but I'd say it's a staple in every market we operate in, and that's over 130. So there's a long, long connection between the brand and music. Cool.
And it's quite, a multifaceted involvement you have in music. You have everything from Save the Night. You have there's a venture capital fund. Yes, there's all manner of different initiatives, aren't there?
Yes. So we identified that the core of the business is that we bring you the best nights of your life, today and tomorrow. That's sort of the motto for the company. Obviously closely linked to the brand Jägermeister, but there's a few other brands that we have as well. And the question is then, how do you bring that to life? It's fairly obvious how do you do that from a brand perspective. You associate that with club culture, for example, with musical artists, et cetera. But if you really want to make sure that it's not just about giving the best nights of your life today, but also tomorrow, then you get to other territories. So you get to territories of sustainability, and one element of that is this. So we installed the Save the Night initiative. This started during COVID, when a lot of our friends in the music and hospitality industry were very much struggling. Fortunately, COVID is over, but they're still under threat. So we didn't just stop the project. We said we needed to continue it. So this project is very much alive and supports artists around the world. Mm-hmm. The other angle is a venture capital element of the business called Best Nights VC. I mean, what a title. Unfortunately, we don't work for them, but I mean, that sounds fun. So those guys, they seek out startups where they have a connection to nightlife. So, is it a booking system for artists? Is it a tracking system for festivals, for example? Is it just a massively big Bluetooth speaker? Those kind of things is where they invest and lend them their support.
Cool. So, I mean, all of this compared to the old days when people just put up the biggest banners at the biggest festivals they could sounds super complex and very intricate and multi-layered. How do you kind of justify that internally? How do you sort of show what the return is against all of this?
I think we insist on a place within the festival. We sort of push for a touch point for our consumers to come and feel the brand, see the brand, and really engage with the brand. So We don't generally put banners above stages or any sort of venues where we don't have actual connection with the consumers. The ROI bit is something that my boss on the right challenges me on most weeks and occasions. I mean, there is something that I truly believe in, that's gut feeling. When we opened a stage last week at Park Life, it was midday. There was artists much bigger than the artists that we were given a platform to, and the people chose to spend their days with us. And I think that's just testament to our belonging. I think people have association when they see the Jägermeister logo that it stands for something. And I think if we don't trust gut instinct in some of these things, then the cool things will never exist. You know, we do have data that tracks footfall. We have till systems that tell us how many people purchase drinks, how many people sample drinks. But the real reason we're there is to really connect with the consumer, and that sometimes comes from in here.
And I guess some businesses are more open to gut instinct than others.
Yeah, I mean, many times, again, Christian and some stakeholders in our business look at me like I'm crazy. But we do have these ideas, and we start with what's the consumer want. So I always start backwards. I start data has to justify my madness, whereas some people justify madness starting with the data. I tend to work backwards, and I think of an idea, then how do I justify it?
Speaking of data, I shared some data earlier about how engaged fans of electronic music are with the music and with the culture. And I guess that's a really positive thing for brands. Brands want to connect with people who are engaged, but probably a bit of a double-edged sword to it as well, because engaged people tend to be very values-oriented, and it can backfire if a brand does a thing wrong. So how do you, as a brand, as a team, navigate that kind of relationship?
Well, I think if you play it safe always, it's going to get a bit boring. So I think as a brand, you need to sometimes take some risks. And I think for Jägermeister, we say, okay, we're a bold brand, so then we also need to act like it. I can't really think of an example where working with that group in particular has really backfired at all. I think it's great. I think the strength of the community comes from them being able to say, okay, this is something that I stand for. Obviously, there's some topics that you associate yourself with the brand more so than others. But in the end, it's a very vibrant culture that makes it so interesting. And we're just lucky that, speaking broadly, music is something that we've been associated with for so long. So for many, it actually feels like we are part of that culture. And I'm not going to say we're the same level as, any artist on the planet or so. We're obviously a very, very small player. But I do hope that people think that it's an authentic belonging rather than just, as Pete said, putting our logo above the stage.
Cool. One of the criticisms I mentioned that comes from people on the club culture side is so many brands tend to move in. They're very enthusiastic for a year, maybe two, and they disappear again, and they go and sponsor sport or something else instead. Sometimes that is because they can't measure these things. Sometimes, not in the case of you guys, it's because CMOs and people in marketing are moving on very quickly. Jägermeister clearly isn't one of those brands. What's the difference there?
Well, I guess those brands don't know what they want, or they know what they stand for. They know what they want. So it's not just a media channel for us. I think it's really part of our DNA in a way. Again, coming back to the long association. I mean, the brand's over 90 years old. It's not like we started out saying, hey, let's find a rave to sponsor. No, that happened a little bit later, but there is this long collaboration with it. I think when brands just pick something for 1 year and expect a result immediately, then they probably need to think that over. Not just for this field, but for anything. When you're talking about a highly emotional context, such as music, such as club culture, or other things as well, you won't see necessarily a tangible effect right away. It can happen, but it's not necessarily a thing. I think we're talking about long-term brand building, and that might not pay off after 6 months or 12 months or so. But if you think it's the right thing to do, then you just have to keep doing it.
And I guess maybe it's not a coincidence that Jägermeister and Red Bull are both family-owned businesses, and maybe that has some impact on the fact that they managed to, that they did stay in the culture for so long. Do you think there's truth in that, and also learnings for brands that maybe aren't family-owned?
Yeah, find a family to buy you. Yeah, I'd also like to say the family that own Jägermeister go raving all the time. I'm not sure, they might. No, but absolutely. So we obviously have to deliver results, and we have to write monthly reports and quarterly reports and whatnot. But there is a long-term horizon here. So when the family say, okay, we trust you to invest in something, then we do have this long-term horizon. It's not like, okay, you need to show us a return within 3 months or so. Mm-hmm. There definitely is a major difference than that. I think they do see the bigger picture, and again, they know what they want. It's aligned to their values, so they're very supportive, especially of the Save the Night campaign, which is something that really is driven on by the family.
Great. I also mentioned that people are sort of querying the role of alcohol in club culture. I wouldn't say people are turning their back on it completely, but it seems to be more of a topic these days. We hear so much about that, and younger generations maybe drinking less and so on. What does that mean for you guys in terms of how you kind of plan the role of Jägermeister within music?
There is a long-term ambition for the brand to be far more than just a liquid. And I think we're already on a good trajectory to creating that. I think when people see our brand at an event or a festival, the first instance isn't I'm going to have a Jägermeister shot or a Jaeger bomb, as mostly consumed in the UK. I think they understand already that the brand has more purpose than we're just a liquid brand anymore.
I think just to add to that, if people chose not to drink, that's fine. I mean, if they're actually not the market for us. So our market is defined as people who have consumed spirits in the last 12 months. That's the people that we look at. So if people choose for whatever reason not to drink alcohol, that's absolutely fine. They, in a way, don't even make it onto our radar. And I think everyone has a choice, and that choice is absolutely fine, and we respect that. In fact, responsible marketing is something that is very near and dear to us, and I think that's probably the case for most major alcohol players, that again, responsibility is something that is just absolutely critical. Again, linking it back to the sustainability issue, that's one of the core pillars as well. If now we see more and more younger consumers abstaining from alcohol, absolutely fine. We market mostly to those, entirely to those who choose to purchase alcohol. But obviously, everyone's welcome. And when we talk about activating in that scene, especially in festivals and clubs or so, we just want to make sure that everyone has a good time.
Cool. Another theme was the sort of division between the haves and the have-nots. It feels that brand money is more available to some in music and dance music than others. I would definitely put Jägermeister on the good side here as a brand that is making good efforts to get to those more minoritized, marginalized communities. I mean, how do you navigate that? How do you go beyond just sort of sponsoring the biggest things out there?
At the core of everything we do look for up-and-coming talent. We do look at independent music venues up and down the country. But obviously, as a big player in that industry, we're also expected by the consumer to be at those big places. If we were to turn away from the drum sheds, the pre-print works, warehouse project, our fans of the brand would expect, why are we not there? So we have a role to make sure we balance that evenly, and I think we have 20 guys up and down the country every single week, every single day, walking into independent and national groups, nightclubs, bars, clubs, and venues, just to make sure that we are offering them all the same level of support. So I think generally we have a very good balance on how we ensure that whatever we can offer these venues is offered evenly and as widespread as possible.
I talked about how people are using language such as funds and grants these days rather than just sort of marketing activations, marketing campaigns. Is there a difference there in terms of what that means at Jägermeister?
That is a good question. Everyone just call it a fund. And I mean, sometimes you have to smile a little bit because it's it's still a marketing campaign. I think any brand that tells me they don't have a commercial objective are probably not going to be around very long. So I think we have to be honest. I think consumers expect a brand to be honest. So I suspect the difference is how much control you give up. So for instance, when we have the Save the Night fund, yes, it comes from a commercial organization such as Jägermeister. We do it because we believe it's the right thing to do. But obviously, it links back to the brand positioning, to the brand association with nightlife. We don't say save the, tea growers or the the bus drivers or something. It's to save the night. But we give the money to people who apply for it. We say, okay, you win, and then that's it. So we advise them if they want advice, but ultimately we relinquish control, and they can spend it on the project they applied for. And that's what we call a fund. Everything else, when we really say, okay, this is something where we invest in for the brand, we have a campaign, we have objectives, and we really control every step of it. Maybe that's one way to describe it. I do, however, see the point that you see an awful lot of funds and those kind of things at the moment across the market, and sometimes you could probably question if it really is that, or is this just a brand investment, a brand campaign?
Something that I always challenge myself and the team on is you can't have less money going to the cause than what you're spending on doing it.
Okay.
So I think that there gives you a moral balance of if there's £5,000 available, you shouldn't be amplifying with £50,000.
Okay.
You should definitely make sure that the source is getting the majority of that.
Right. So otherwise, it's back to front. If there's more money going into the amplification,
Then there's an insincere rationale behind it.
And you made that comment about relinquishing control. That's not a very easy thing for brands to do.
No, especially when you work with people who have strong opinions, you know. No, but I think it's important that they understand that we're partners in this. And I think if it really is a true partnership, then they will listen to you and listen to your advice. I mean, in the sense of, okay, you're not saying, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, but saying, okay, listen, we can put you together with people who have done this sort of thing before. Maybe they can help you to do that. So, for instance, we helped someone bring up a nightclub in Kenya, right? So we have people who know the market there, and that's something where we were able to help through our network. But ultimately, the main thing with there is provide the funding for something that is, made quite a difference on the ground. There was another collective, I think, that we supported in Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. So similarly there, that is something that the local team will advise and then support. But ultimately, it's not the main brand campaign of the year.
Cool. I talked about how culture marketing in general might be under threat in this sort of age of Trump's return and sort of the so-called backlash against all things woke and so on. I mean, how do you see that playing out?
Well, I think if you believe in something, then you believe in it, right? I mean, if you change it just because the wind changes, then you probably maybe never believed in it. I mean, I'm not saying that you can never change your opinion on something. But we definitely see a change in nightlife, regardless of what's happening in Washington. The way people go out has changed. People go out earlier, but then again, we have a trend now where restaurants stay up late. So which way is it going? So I think sometimes you have to read a little bit behind the headlines. It's an interesting and vibrant environment to operate in. Sometimes you have to be a bit careful what you do as a brand. But ultimately, I think it comes really back to taking a stance and saying, okay, this is what we believe in, so we will continue something or not. Now, I know that for some brands, this is quite a big challenge, and I think there have been numerous examples in the past 3, 4, 5 years or so. I'm not here to criticize any of their decisions, but some of them, I think would be worth discussing.
Cool. Last question. Do you have any big plans for Jägermeister for the rest of the year? Any sort of new innovations in how you work in music upcoming?
We continue to support a music festival program throughout the summer, so hitting up and down the country for the next few months. We will proceed with the year 3 of our DJ Academy, which is offering a platform to those interested in DJing, but there's boundaries or barriers to their entry, whether it's financial, time, opportunities. So we've been doing that now for 3 years. And those guys then get a platform to perform on across our stage and stuff like that. We continue to challenge the people above to make sure they're giving us the opportunities to engage in the cultural space. So we're always open, always ready to do something else.
Cool. Keep fighting the fight.
Well, definitely. Yeah.
While I'm there, I will.
Yeah.
So I think we're trying to support most we can. I mean, it's a tough market right now. I think we do feel the constraints, and I think it's not just our industry. It's when you talk of marketers of a variety of industry, everyone's saying, okay, my budget is getting pinched, and we need to deliver more results. That's just, I think, the general state of the economy, not just in the UK. I think what's new for us is that this is sort of like a worldwide trend. Well, we do believe it in. I think we are a brand, we're fortunate, which brings it back to the family, where we do invest heavily into the brand, which is necessary because it is such an emotional brand, and a lot of that goes to the music environment, be it small artists, be it larger groups as well. But that is something that's not happening just in the UK, but in every single market. So we want to keep bringing on the best nights and for people to enjoy that.
Great. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Peter.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thank you. Thank you.